Welcome to uWrench. Today we're having a look at this diagnostic scanner that's been kindly supplied to us for review by XTOOL. This is the XTOOL D7S. Now the original XTOOL D7 that's been around for a few years is one of the most respected scanners within its price category, and rightfully so. And what we have here, this is the updated version, going from the D7 to the D7S. So first of all, let's talk price. The current pricing on this on Amazon is around $469. And additionally, they do very often have discount vouchers available on there as well. So realistically, you should be able to pick one of these up for about $420 to $440. So from a price perspective, it's not that much more expensive than the original D7. But this new model that we have here has some major advantages over the previous model. Now, by far the biggest innovation that we have on the D7S that the D7 doesn't have is the protocols that this thing can handle. Now, of course, just like the D7, this can handle CAN protocols, no problem at all. However, this particular unit also does DOIP, and that stands for Diagnostic Over Internet Protocol. So what is DOIP, and do you really need it? Well, DOIP, just like CAN, is essentially a protocol. It's just a way in which you communicate with the car. However, the DOIP does offer several advantages over the older CAN. Most notably, DOIP is more secure than the older CAN system. And additionally, it is much faster when it comes to doing complex tasks. So if you're doing stuff like recoding ECUs, it can be a lot quicker using the DOIP than it can be done via CAN. Now, the significance of this is that since 2020, all manufacturers have been getting on board with this new system. And so if you're working on a car that's 2020 or newer, depending on who manufactures it, there's a high possibility that it may well be DOIP. So if you try reading that car with your old CAN system, it's not going to be able to do the job. And another key thing when it comes to DOIP is you must have an internet connection, because for that diagnostic connection to work, it must connect to a cloud. So offline diagnostics are quickly becoming a thing of the past. So ultimately, if you are going to be working on newer cars, then basically you have to have this technology. And thankfully, the new D7S does both CAN and the DOIP. And we will be adding Amazon links for the D7S and also the D7W, which is an identical model to this, but is completely wireless. And we'll add those links into the video description below. So if this video has been helpful for you, could you please help us out in return, and please be sure to use our Amazon links. So our D7S comes in this nice and smart retail box, within which we have this sturdy, hard black case. And within the box, first of all, we have the power supply. And for the power supply, we have 3 different power cables. We have one that covers the US and Canada, another for Europe, and a third for the UK. And the main OBD2 cable itself comes in a rather fetching red and black. And then we also have a basic instruction manual. And of course, the most important bit, which is actually fitted into the lid, held in with 2 straps and a foam insert that holds the scanner in place. And with regards to specification, we have a 7-inch full colour touchscreen here with a resolution of 1024 by 600. And with regards to battery, we have a slightly bigger battery in this model than we had in the previous D7. In the D7 they had a 4000 mAh, this has a 5000. Additionally, we do have double the storage of the D7, which was 32GB. This one comes in at 64. And we have a quad-core processor running the system, which is Android 10. Additionally, we do have a rear camera fitted to this, which can sometimes be handy for catching little snapshots of jobs in progress. And again, the original D7 didn't have that. And with regards to build, it is a plastic construction. However, these outer sections, the hand grips on the side, are made of a rubberized plastic. And additionally, we do also have a nice kickstand on the rear of the unit. And with regards to warranty, the warranty on the XTOOL here is a 2-year warranty, and also included in the purchase price you do get 3 years of full free updates. And with regards to vehicle coverage, XTOOL claim that this will cover over 10,000 different vehicles. And so this will cover the vast majority of car brands. So for 95+% of people watching this video, this will likely cover your car. So now we know a little bit more about the D7S, let's get it set up. So when the unit is first powered on, you are presented with the XTOOL logo, which then takes you into their welcome screen. And when you click on screen, it asks you to confirm your language preference. And then it takes you straight into network setup. And it's great to see that this unit supports both 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi connections. So next you simply choose your desired network, enter your Wi-Fi password and click Next. It then asks you to confirm your language once again, so just click Next. And the system then loads and you'll be asked to either sign up or if you already have an XTOOL account then to log in. So enter your email address here and enter and confirm your password. Next it confirms that you have logged in successfully and it shows you how many days you have remaining on your current subscription. So now you can click Start Now, or if you get a firmware update request as we have, then you can click Update to activate it. And during this process you can see that we have the full Android environment in the background, just like any Android tablet. So go ahead and confirm any Android requests and then click Open when completed. And now we're into the main XTOOL software, and we can see that the system is telling us that there are 79 updates available. So let's ensure that everything is up to date before using the scanner and get those updates installed. So click on Updates. And here is the full list of available updates. You can pick and choose, or better still, just hit the Update All button. But be warned, it will likely take some time to install all of these updates, so you will need to be patient upon first setting the unit up. But once everything's updated, we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and get this connected up to the car. So first of all, we need to connect one end of the cable to the scanner. And then we'll connect the other end to our OBD2 port, which is usually located under the dash on the left-hand side of the vehicle. Then you'll need to put in the key and switch the ignition to position 2, which is the one before starting the engine. And also be sure to switch off anything that will drain your battery, including your heater panel and your radio. And the scanner is now ready to use, so let's have a quick look at some of the basic functions. So let's go ahead and hit the auto scan option. It then gives you an option for possible matches to the VIN. In our case it's a Chrysler, so we'll click that. It will then confirm the vehicle details including the VIN. So now we'll click the automatic scan option and the scanner will scan through all of the available modules for fault codes. And as we can see, we do have quite a few fault codes here, which we were expecting because the battery on this car has been disconnected for several days. And our scan is now completed. But before we do anything with our codes, it's a good idea to save the report. So we'll click on the Report button and then click on Save. And now you'll be asked to confirm the report details. Then just click OK and the report is now saved in the Report section of the scanner. So now that's saved, we'll hit Exit to come back to the report. And you can now look over the list of faults. And if you want additional information on any fault, just click the arrow icon and it expands the fault to show the fault code and description. And a really nice feature here is the diagnostic button at the end of each line. If we go ahead and click this, it gives us immediate access to that module and all of its options. So if you want to run some quick tests on a particular fault that has showed up during the scan, then you can do it very easily without having to leave the fault and search for the modules separately. So this can save a lot of time. So let's show a quick example of this whilst we're here. So let's run the system check for the radio. And we'll do the radio tone test. This test will send various test tones to each speaker in rotation, so you can easily see if there is an issue with a speaker. So let's go back to the diagnostic report and let's look at another example, this time for the left rear sliding door module. And this time let's have a look at the live data, which allows us to see in real time what the module is seeing. So I'll scroll down until I can see the position sensor status. And if we use the button on the door to open the sliding door, we can see the position sensor's status has changed between closed and open as the door opens and closes. So next let's delve a little deeper, and this time after the initial scan is complete, instead of clicking automatic scan, let's instead choose system selection. And here we get a selection of modules that we have available for this vehicle. And as you can see, we do have a fairly comprehensive list of available options in this section. So for an example, let's take a look at the rear sliding door again, and we'll look at system check. And here we can see that we have bi-directional controls to open or close the sliding doors to test the operation using only the scanner. So we're going to choose the sliding door close test because our door is already open. And then click OK, and as you can hear, the power door will now open. And the scanner confirms that it has passed the test OK. So let's stay in this module, and this time we'll look at the live data. And we have a lot of options to choose from here, but the one that I want to see for my example is number 28, which is the left sliding door status. Currently it is fully open, but if I press the door button to start it closing, we can see the status will change to power closing, and then when it's complete the status is fully closed. So it looks like everything's good with the doors. So let's look at another simple test, and this time look at the horn. And we have a nice simple test here to toggle the horn on and off. And as you can hear, our horn is operating exactly as it should. So for another quick example, let's look at the front left door module and test the window using the bi-directional actuation test. And then we'll click window control. And we now have options to make the scanner actuate the window up or down. Let's hit down 2.5 seconds. And then back up again. So for the sake of example, if your window doesn't operate when you press the switch on your door, this allows you to control the motor directly by bypassing that switch. And so a simple test like this could tell you immediately if the switch is faulty, or alternatively if it's more likely to be the motor or wiring. Finally, let's do a quick test for our pedals within the ABS module section. And this time we've clicked live data. And I'll look through the list of options here that I want to test. And I'll choose the accelerator pedal position and the brake pedal status options. Then I'll click on the custom button, and now I can see just those options as I chose. And the brake pedal status is currently released. And as I press and release the brake, you can see the status change. Likewise with the accelerator pedal, if I press it down slowly to the floor, it will eventually get to 100%. And then back down to 0 as I release it. And you can also hit the record button during these live data feeds, so you can record exactly what's being shown on screen to view back later. And this is absolutely essential for tracking down faults that need to be checked whilst the car is driving. And there's also a graph view available as well, which can be really useful. And you can see the adjustments live as I press the accelerator pedal. And when you finish recording, you can export the data, which is then saved within the report section, so you can view them back later. And what we're showing here is only touching upon what this scanner is capable of doing. But you can see the level of control and data that you're able to pull within these modules to help track down a tricky or intermittent fault. So next let's have a look at the special functions section. Now when you're looking at the marketing materials for this scanner, it says it can do 36 services, but that's precisely what we're seeing here. However, it is important to point out that this section is a very generic grouping of common service options. And not all of these will be available for every car because it will depend on what option your car has fitted. But it can sometimes be useful to get quick and easy access to some of these common options all in one place. So let's have a look in the key programming section. So we need to agree and then select our make, which for us is Chrysler. Next, select by vehicle, and ours is a town and country. And the age range 2011 to 2016. And we don't have keyless go, so we'll choose just phobic. And here are our key programming options. So let's see if we can retrieve the PIN code from the immobilizer, as that is required for key programming. And yes, as we can see, it retrieves that code easily, which is perfect. So in theory, we should be able to program keys for this car, which we may cover in a future video. So overall, this special functions section can be useful, but I'd always recommend going into the specific modules as required via the diagnostic section, as that way you'll have more control and options, and you'll not be looking at things which may be irrelevant for your car. And of course you'll get a better understanding of how the scanner operates. So taking a quick look over some of the other sections, starting with the report section. And here you can view your previous diagnostic reports. And there are several options available, including share by email. And it does not populate the email address automatically using your account details, and so you must enter it manually the first time. But once entered, it remembers that same email every time, so you only need to add it once. Moving on to settings, and we have a decent amount of options here, including language, units of measurement, USB connection mode, sound and display levels, and about this unit. And as mentioned, we're really only scratching the surface of what the D7S is capable of doing. But hopefully you can get a feel for how it operates and just how extensive those options could be. And if you need to check for specific functionality, then please be sure to check out the XTOOL website. So when it comes to the D7S, what were the positives and the negatives? So first up for positives is the build quality. It does have a very solid feel to it. And it's also quite a heavy unit, and so does feel quite substantial. Now the build quality is not of a true industrial grade, however it does feel quite sturdy. Additionally, the screen quality on this is excellent. It's very, very clear and also very bright. Also, we really like the way that XTOOL don't actually try to hide the fact that behind this scanner is really just an Android tablet. And on the D7S, you can just swipe up to bring up the main menu, press the home screen, and you're on a full Android screen. Now, many manufacturers actually prefer to hide the Android system behind their own operating system. Whereas on the XTOOL here, what we have in theory is a fully fledged and working Android tablet. Now, we haven't tried it, but in theory you could add additional apps to this, maybe even add the YouTube app so you can watch some of our other videos. But regardless of what you choose to do with it, it's nice to have that extra level of flexibility. And of course, a huge major plus point is that this is a super capable scanner, just like the D7 that came before it. Now, although this and the D7 before it can't do every single manufacturer's specific job, it can do a heck of a lot. In fact, quite a surprising amount, which is why the D7 has been so popular over the last few years. Another positive factor is actually the price on this. They haven't had too much of a price jump between the D7 and the newer D7S. Now, when you're looking at scanners under the $500 mark, yes, there are a lot to choose from. However, there's probably very few that can actually compete with this for functionality. And that's precisely why the original D7 has been such a popular scanner. And with the newer D7S, in theory, we have everything here that the D7 can do, but of course we have that DOIP as well. So in theory, this can do a lot more than the D7. So it's very likely that the D7S will go on to be a hugely successful scanner, just like the D7 before it. So as you can see, we were very impressed with the D7S. However, were there any negatives? Well, yes, we did find a couple of negatives, but thankfully they're only relatively minor. So the first thing that could be improved on this is the ability to send yourself the reports more easily. Now, what happens currently with this is once you've done a scan or whatever it is you're doing on the scanner, then you can actually save those results, but then you've got to remember to then go into your saved results section, which is in a different section, and then email it to yourself from there. And we couldn't find an option to be able to send that email directly from the page that you've just scanned on. What you ideally want to do is run that diagnostic scan, send it immediately, and then clear your faults or do whatever you want to do, rather than have to remember to go to a different section and send it later. And so that is a little bit annoying, and we have seen that function integrated much smoothly on other scanners. And another minor niggle is that XTOOL say this can cover 10,000 different vehicles, and that's very likely true. However, we do only have one cable that comes with this unit. It would be nice to see this unit come supplied as standard with a few of the more commonly required adapters. Although having said that, XTOOL do manufacture a huge range of adapters and add-ons for these units, and so if there's something that you don't have, they usually do it at quite a reasonable price, so you can probably pick that up without breaking the bank. So when it comes to the XTOOL D7S, should you buy one? Well, the short answer is yes. Just like its predecessor, the D7, this is a hugely capable scanner. And when we add onto that the DOIP as well, we've got something that should be good for a decent number of years to come. And additionally, it's not priced unrealistically, and this will definitely sit very competitively with any other scanner under $500. So if you're interested in picking up the D7S or possibly the D7W, which is the wireless version, please do remember we will be adding those Amazon links into the video description below. So if you like this video, then please be sure to help us in return. Please be sure to click our Amazon links. So thank you for joining us here at uWrench. It's very much appreciated. Before you leave, please help us out, hit that like button and also consider hitting that subscribe. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again.